Darren, yes, we are live.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, what is going on? It is Wednesday. It is time to do that thing we're going to hear melt your face off tonight, this evening, wherever you may be. What do we have for you? It's kind of amazing because GNOME's going to be breaking your extensions. Wayland's absolutely the future if you just overlook a bunch of things. AMD's got some software that might speed things up. And we're going to talk about word processors. Yeah, all that and more coming up. What's going on, everybody? I am still playing around with audio, doing a bunch of things. How are we doing on this lovely Wednesday? All the stuff to get done. We're going to jump right in and out today. How's everybody doing? Doing good? We feeling it? Got everything going on? I hope so. No, I got to get the audio stuff lined back up, so I'm juggling a bunch of stuff today. On top of everything else, but I'm anything but patient. So, thank you, Dawn. Right up there with 34 months.
Woohoo, Dawn. Yay, Dawn. Woohoo.
All right, we're rocking and rolling. We got about 9 minutes before we are going to go live, and we are going to jump into it. So we got that together. And yeah, so Arthur, and I saw the thing that you posted. What was that? Immutable systems, right? Immutable Linux desktops. Now, granted, it was about 3 o'clock in the morning when I ran across that. It was, but it appears there's some misconceptions about it. And I don't know if they're necessarily misconceptions, because I got as far as down to not being able to type the word reboot. Making excuses for rebooting your system. Like, come on, man, it's not too bad. You can just reboot all the time. You know, you run Linux, so you can reboot. Yeah, I don't know what to think about that. And then we got into the, talking about like political views and stuff with an operating system. Things like that just make Linus Torvalds spin in circles. Can you imagine just trying to create an operating system and people want to inject their politics into your operating system? Can you? I know Jill's saying things, but she's muted.
There we are. Yeah, I wouldn't want to bring politics into it either.
This is, yeah, I don't know. Like, immutable systems are interested. Are they more secure? Yeah, I guess. Like, if you got bad security to begin with. I don't have, like, anything positive or negative. The need to reboot varies on implementation. While Endless OS, yeah, so apparently you can install some stuff without having to reboot, which is neat, I guess. I don't know. I don't know what my thoughts are on that. I'm not going to be running do you have any plans? Anybody have any plans to run a immutable Linux distribution?
I do on several machines, including my Steam Deck. I have BlendOS on one of my computers that I've used OBS with.
Do you use it on your desktop?
Well. Yeah. Blend actually works really nicely. I've been really impressed with it.
It depends on excellent implementation. Well, yeah. Like, there's no problem with anything if you overlook the glaring problems. Don't worry, we're going to talk about that today in a minute. When it comes to Wayland.
That's funny, Steve Husband.
Immutable distro in a VM. Yeah, I could say, I mean, but an immutable distribution in a VM. Well, I mean, I guess. You can do that. Nobody's going to stop. Yeah. Like, I think all the new and shinies kind of worn off the immutable stuff, but, like, whatever. If that's how you want to run them. I say the best thing you can do when it comes to security is learn some good security stuff. And that's what I want you to do. I want you to go to Google and I want you to type in good security stuff Linux and just read everything.
Yeah, Fedora Silver Blue. That is a good distro, but yeah, it's not for you. It's not for you. But BlendOS is cool because you can, you know, install apt and DNF and have them in their own containers. It's really brilliant.
So you got to like put applications in containers on the desktop.
Yeah, they run two ways. There's a container, but they will also utilize the local, core Linux install.
Mm-hmm.
So it's faster. So it is faster.
All right, so it looks like it's working. I can bounce that.
On Firefox.
And what are you talking about, Strider? Can you not figure out how to get Firefox working?
Oh boy. Twitch. Huh. I don't think I've ever had that on Firefox with Twitch, because
it was like that last week. I don't know, man.
Works
like,
in Chrome, huh?
What kind of script block and ad block do you have set up? Yep. It's you problem, homie. Let me save that. Yeah, I just pulled it up in Chrome. Not Chrome, geez. Firefox. There it is. Oh, maybe that was your problem.
Oh, uBlock. That was, yeah. That makes sense. Yeah, I don't have those plugins installed on this machine. For that reason.
Well, at least you got it figured out.
Yeah, it does work fine on Vivaldi. That's what I'm using right now.
Oh yeah, I have uBlock, but I don't... do I even have uBlock in Firefox?
Oh yeah.
But do I have it enabled?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Let me go back there. Yeah, I got it enabled. Yep. Yep. That's even in the screenshot. Yeah, that's working. I have script block and uBlock up and running. You got a combination of being able to watch Twitch, so that's what you got, man. All right, got about 3 minutes.
Okay, I'll be right back.
I don't know, maybe you're running a new fancy advanced version of Firefox. Why don't you just watch Twitch on your Android tablet? That's how I watch Twitch. I never watch Twitch on a desktop device. Like, I genuinely don't think I do. Like, maybe I'll check out a Twitch clip or something like that. But yeah, like, I don't ever have Twitch on when I'm chilling out in here. All right, so I need to get on. Strider, you're a shorty. And you're never going to develop a proper hunchback unless you start looking down at things. And it's important to develop a good hunch in your back. It's going to make you more aerodynamic as you age. You don't want to be 80, 90 years old and straight up, man. Think about all that wind resistance. All right. I think everything's working. That's right. That's right. We're not getting any audio doubling, so that's good. And there we go. Cool. All right, I think we are good to go. Do fix that. Give me 1 sec. Okay, so the captions are coming in over that. Huh. I got an extra audio channel coming in. I've changed some things up with, instead of doing a mono mix down and sending that into OBS and into Reaper, we're doing it with a stereo pair. I mean, it's just dual mono. And you would think that would be easy. You would be wrong. But it looks like that's working. So Oh, that's good. I don't know if we need we're going to leave that on. I'm going to have to go back and listen to this. That should be fun. What do we have? Oh, right. We got Steam on that. I'm kind of hoping my new hard drive shows up today. How about another NVMe drive? That together, we have that together. I gotta do that. Oh man, okay, so I saw this. This reminds me, I went looking. I need to tell this story real quick before the show. I'm kind of scoping out. I'm looking for a Ryzen 7 5700G. I'm trying to get a used one. I was like, let me see what I get one on eBay for, right? I posted this in our Discord. This is a 5700G 8-core, 16 thread. And I'm like, okay, type it into eBay. And I'm like, somebody's got one for sale? First result, there's one for like 75 bucks. I'm like, you know what? I'll spend 75 bucks. Not a problem. And I read it. And what the dude was doing, like the description said, are AMD Ryzen 7500G 8-core. Like right in the title, $75. I'm like, that's a good deal, man. You know, it's not a new CPU either, right? That's an AMD 4. It's not an AM5. I'm like, yeah, all right, that's on the low end, but I'll go ahead and grab that. Read the description. Guy's like, no, this is just for the cooler. The guy was selling his free cooler for 75 bucks and hoping, like, what do you hope to do here? Like, why are you trying to scam people on eBay in 2023? Because eBay's got so many buyer protections these days. Like, it's kind of a pointless thing. Like, you're not going to get away with it. Scammers just irritate me. You ever been scammed on eBay?
Yeah. It happened to me once, and then I learned.
I think I've only scammed myself on eBay. When I think about it. Years and years and years ago, somebody wanted a laptop. And they're like, hey, can you give me a laptop? And I'm like, sure, I'll get you one and format it and put Windows on it. I'm about him on. Then I ordered one. It's a couple $100. Didn't think twice of it. I was like, that's an okay price. It wasn't a great deal, right?
No.
It wasn't a like too good to be true, so I didn't really look it over. And it is about $100 less than the other ones. And it wasn't like a super new laptop. I get it in.
Uh-oh.
Cut it on. Display doesn't work.
Oh, boy.
Like, man. Maybe it got damaged. Then I finally went back and read the listing, and I'm like, and right at the bottom is like, display doesn't work. Like, oh. It wasn't a big deal. I got a new display put on it, but yeah, I think that was my lesson. Like, always read those descriptions. I've never had anybody try to outright scam me, though. But you gotta be careful these days, though, even on Amazon.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I know a lot of people that won't even use eBay because they've been scammed a couple times. Like, never again, but it's starting to happen on Amazon and a lot of the services.
Like, eBay is pretty good about, like, just refunding your money because they have a thing now. What makes it really hard for the scammers is if you buy it on eBay, they hold their money for a month. So they can't get to your money. Like, even if they do successfully scam you, you got like a month to go, hey, eBay, this wasn't right. I couldn't imagine. Like, what was that site? Not Wish, the other one?
Temu?
Temu. What do they have a return policy or anything?
Oh, yeah, a very good one. In fact, theirs is so good that they actually not only refund you, but give you credit if, like, it doesn't show up on time or if there's an issue. And oftentimes they'll just let you keep the original and send you a new one.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
like Amazon does that. Yeah, it does, Strider.
Temu. How do you even spell that?
TEMU.
TEET. Wait, or just one E or two E's?
Just one E. TEMU.
There we go. Found it. Oh, no. Hang on, let me get to the right
Lots
thing.
of white and orange. Yep, there's your spin the wheel. It's the first time you've gone on the site.
Go away. What are we buying today? Where's the electronics section? There it is.
I just type in computer. They have computer accessories there on the list, but you can just type computer.
What is this? Oh, that's nice. A brush. Xiaomi Redmi. 138. 165 hertz. TN. Oh, what's this? What? This is one of the interesting things you're always going to find in. Oh, you want me to sign in to look at it. Look at that. See how quick I close your site? Look at that. Aw. Yeah. I don't know. Like, I'm old. I'll just... Jill's keeping track of the fancy news sites. So I'll just buy my old stuff from AliExpress every now and then. I haven't ordered anything in a long time.
Yeah, I have mine set up with my PayPal account so that I can keep track of, the activity and everything for safety.
Yeah, Mir, that's the quickest way to get me to leave a website, is if I try to look at something. You need to create an account. Like, I'm trying to give you money, man. Let me...
Well, on mobile, all you have to do is sign up with your Google account.
Yeah. All right. Cool. I think we got all the checks done, so we can rock and roll on this. Let's get that locked and loaded. And recording. Good to go. You ready, Joe?
Yes.
All right. Hey everyone, welcome back to Linux Weekly, daily Wednesdays where we sit back, relax, take that midweek break, talk about some of the fun things going on in the world of Linux and open source. I'm Vin, that's Jill, and that's you. You're probably listening, but hey, all the super special people watching this live right now over on Twitch. How you doing? We got a lot to talk about this week, but Jill has went through a long, detailed explanation telling me about the awesomeness that is Temu.
Yeah. So Temu is a great place to get lots of pink and penguin-y things, and also keyboards that I've shown off here on the show. And this is my newest one. It's so cute. It's a pink plush penguin, and it's licking a pink popsicle. And this was literally about $2. And on Amazon, the same one was $20. So that is a savings.
So what you got to do is buy more and sell them on Amazon for $15.
Yeah, I know people are probably doing that too. Absolutely. So it's just been, for me, it's been really cool because I, collect all kinds of unique keyboards, pink and colorful, and computer parts and stuffed penguins. So that's, perfect for that market is perfect on Temu. So I love it.
Right on.
And you get it under a week, which is nice. Which is different from AliExpress, which can be, a month or 2 months for the same item.
Well, you got to do what the other YouTubers are doing the all Temu
unboxings, yeah.
PC builds and.
Yep.
I don't know. I've had my entire Temu experience. We did it in the pre-show. I clicked on a thing. I'm like, hey, what's that? It's like, hey, create an account. And I'm like, close tab.
Yeah, on mobile, again, you just use your Google account.
There's
if you want to go
no way
that
in the
way.
world I'd give that company my mobile data from Google. Like, nope. But maybe you like that. I think just like in general, any website, and this is nothing against Temu whatsoever. This is against the practice as a whole. Because we've all run into it at some point, haven't we? When you're just trying to find something, you're like, hey, what's that? And it's like, hey, you need to create an account.
I know, it's annoying. It is annoying.
Oof. You got anything else going on this week, Joe?
Oh boy, well, I had a lot of fun playing the Trackmania maps yesterday during
Except for
our
that one.
Trackmania. Yeah, practice stream. Yeah. I'll get through it though. I did see the final goal.
Oh, you got through it. We got
was
one
that's
oh
no, I did.
The one with the crazy overhead.
Yeah, I did.
That we were all like, this is impossible to drive. It's like, I hate this. Then Joe got through it and was like, yeah, I got through it.
Yes, I did.
It's pretty fun. Come hang out with us on Tuesdays and Fridays if you get a chance. If you're looking for a nice crippling addiction. If you got Amazon Prime, it doesn't cost you anything. Just give us those Bezo boxes, a Twitch sub, link that up to our Discord. Come say hello. We even got like live voice chat going on. We'll be back at that on Friday. Nice group of miscreants.
Mm-hmm. It's a really great group.
And it's fun.
Yeah.
It's a good time. And what have I done? Oh, right. I found something earlier this week because I love mechanical keyboards.
Yes. Not.
I do. I mean, they're awesome. They allow you to make noise and, I don't like mechanical keyboards. You know what? I don't have a problem. Okay, here's my feeling on mechanical keyboards. As long as I don't have to deal with them, they're great. You do you. But maybe you're in a work environment, a cubicle environment, and the person next to you, the person across from you, has one of those super. Which ones are the loudest, Jill?
Oh, the blues.
The blues. They
Yeah.
got some blue switches in there, and there's like, they won't be quiet, and you can't block them out. You can't do anything, and you're thinking to yourself, like, well, I'm not going to buy one to try to annoy them because you don't have to anymore. No. I ran across a project that will allow any keyboard to play clicky clacky sounds anytime you press the key. So what you can do, it's even got, it's right there, buckle spring. Go ahead and install it. It's right there for Debian, Void Linux, FreeBSD, even Arch, up and running. And the reason I like this is because then you can get some nice speakers, name it right back at them. Just
yeah.
Because they're going to love it. They love the clicky sound. You'll find out. They'll find like, no, I only like it when I make the clicky sound. Like,
I love it too, but I don't like to irritate people with it. So
nobody likes the sound of it. Like, I mean, you think about the example I always like to bring up with mechanical keyboards is how quickly do you get irritated when you're listening to somebody's live stream or podcast and you start hearing the keyboard?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so annoying.
Yeah. Like, hey, stop that. I'm trying to exactly.
Yeah.
Like, nobody likes that sound unless you're typing, and if you're doing it all by yourself, not bugging anybody. But yeah, go install Buckle Spring and engage in clicky warfare.
Yeah.
Have some fun with it.
Yeah.
Another thing, we talked about that Zima board last week, right?
Oh yeah, so cool. So have you picked one up yet, Ben?
Got pretty close. Close. I didn't get a chance after the show, but it's stuck in my mind because we talked about it again at the beginning of the show on Saturday because I wanted to tell Jordan about it because I know Jordan's always interested in like, NAS type devices, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, hey, check this out. And it was pretty nice. And after the show, I'm like, you know what? Fine. I'm just going to go ahead and order one. If you don't know, x86 fanless. It's got a PCI Express slot on it. It's got 2 SATA ports on the back. $140. Okay, fine. Fine, you got me. I got to order it. This is where you can let me know, Jill. Am I being irrational feel free to leave a comment on the YouTube video if you agree or disagree. Put it in the cart. And it says, hey, would you like to add a power adapter? This doesn't come with a power adapter for $145. All right. How much you want for your power adapter? You want $15 for a power adapter.
Oh, boy. That's where they make a little extra money.
$15 for a power, and they have a nice little paragraph. They're like, well, we understand you can just go to Amazon and get this exact same power adapter.
Okay.
For $6.
It's not the official one.
But you see, we've bought it from Amazon for $6, and we would like you to pay $15 for it.
Yeah.
I hadn't ordered yet.
Okay.
That stopped me right there. I was like, that. I found
it. You would think that it came with the power supply. I'm surprised.
You would too. Now, this is where it like borderlines on some type of rationality, because like when I order a Raspberry Pi or something like that, I always get an official power supply with it. I don't like doing guesswork with power supplies, right? Because there's a billion up there. You're right about that, and you never know who's going to make one.
Yeah.
Even the ones I found on Amazon, I'm like, you know what? I'll pay an extra 30, 40 bucks. Not 30 bucks, let's be honest. If I can find somebody that's already got one matched pair that's here in the States, I can get it the next day. Nobody's even selling more power supplies here. Zima, I like your product. I think it's interesting. It's very compelling. But I'm not giving you $15 for a power adapter when I know full well you did not pay $15 for that power adapter. Like, not even close. That's like a 400% markup on that power adapter.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm being irrational. Who knows?
I'm a little surprised that it's not USB-C or just USB powered, like the Raspberry Pi is, but it is x86.
Yeah, it's x86 and it's got PCI Express on it, and people are going to be plugging drives into it. And
that's true. Yeah.
Like, I understand. I'll probably end up still buying one, but I haven't swallowed my pride yet, kids.
Yeah.
It'll be a fun project. I still got to do that Mac Mini thing. Not Mac Mini, Apple TV. It looks like a Apple Mac Mini. TV. Yeah, my hipster Mac Mini, the OG one. So once I get done with that, maybe I'll come back and revisit it. So let's go ahead and start off this week with the GNOME desktop and GNOME 45 doing some very GNOME-y things.
Yeah, this is really cool. So the big news for GNOME and those of us that use GNOME desktop, GNOME is moving from its in-house GNOME JavaScript to standard JavaScript modules or ESM. And this actually means that when you upgrade to GNOME version 45, all of your older GNOME 44 extensions or older won't work. And you will have to wait for the app maintainers and developers to upgrade their extensions. But fortunately, some of them already have fixed this for the GNOME 45 migration and knew this was coming. And, the other nice thing is actually for most extensions, this is a very simple fix, and the app maintainers can look at the link posted in our LWW show notes for instructions, because it's just a few lines of code. And I was checking Venn because two of my extensions that I use all the time, Dash to Panel and Dash to Dock, are actually some of the most popular. And Dash to Dock already has a GNOME 45 extension, but Dash to Panel doesn't yet. So, and I'm sure they will very soon. And you can go and check all the extensions, the ones that you like to use, and what GNOME that you can get them to work on extensions.gnome.org. It's just the go-to for us GNOME users. But this is actually a big deal. This is a good thing for GNOME to use a more standard, JavaScript format.
Yeah, but they're going to have to get more creative, though, because this isn't the first time they've broken an extension set.
Yeah.
So, like, the next time they break extensions, which will probably happen again in the future, moving from the in-house GJS to ESM is probably a good idea. And here's, like, having to, like, find out which ones are ported, because nobody likes a hard break with anything. I understand, like, they got to do it. They got to do it. And I understand that. But the big issue is most people say, by most people, the people I know who run GNOME, that GNOME by itself, vanilla out of the box GNOME, is basically an unusable experience for them. I cannot speak with personal experience on this. I'm just parroting what I've been told. So this could be a problem, especially if you got some like older extensions that are just never going to get updated, because you know those are out there.
Those are out there.
Yeah.
And this has actually kind of been a problem every time there's a new version of GNOME. It was even with GNOME 44, some of the older extensions.
Well, I mean, if they're not breaking stuff, they're taking stuff out.
Yeah. This is kind of something that the GNOME users are used to doing. It's a bit annoying, but
pissing off their fan base? Yeah, they're pretty used to that. I want to know, do you use vanilla GNOME? Like, drop me a comment, let me know. Or do you have a like swath of extensions? Because I know there's some diehard like GNOME fans in the audience. They're like, hey, this is like, this is what I use. And like, you know, you're keeping track of this stuff. I just read this and like, GNOME's breaking something. Okay. I mean, it doesn't affect me. I'm on XFCE. So how does, and is this going to have any type of like knock-on effects from things that are like built on GNOME, like Pop OS, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And in fact, Pop OS has their own implementation of dash to dock. So that's important for them that they'll have to do those updates themselves.
So for you, what is your one extension you couldn't live without?
Dash to dock.
What does that do?
Okay, so that basically puts the top panel and your quick access to applications and whatnot in a dock on the bottom or the side of the screen. It just I like it because when you enter the GNOME desktop, it looks more like a traditional desktop when you do that.
But aren't you supposed to like wiggle your mouse in corners and stuff?
Yeah.
I have no idea how GNOME works. That's how I imagine GNOME works. I'm like, draw 3 smiley faces here, and that's how that. No, I don't.
Yeah. Yeah, and Strider in chat, creator of Lutris, also uses dash to dock. I know he does because I've seen his desktop.
Yeah, I'm curious what extensions people are like, this is the only way I can use GNOME. And I don't think this is going to be a big deal because the big popular ones are going to change, and the people are like, I can't use GNOME without this. They're just going to run something else, right?
Yeah.
Not that big a deal. So, we were checking last night who was running Wayland and who was running X.
Yeah.
When we got done with Trackmania, which was fun because
it was. What
really surprised me was a bunch of people had no idea. And you know what? That's the way it should be. They're like, Wayland, sure. I might be running Wayland. Yeah, 2 people I'm like, yeah, we're running Wayland. I'm like, here, type this into your terminal. I'm like, no, I'm running X. Huh. But Wayland's the future. It's always perpetually been 10 years away for the last 17.
Yeah.
But I ran into a thing earlier this week. It's a very opinionated piece. It's been making the rounds, and I've seen it show up in a couple of places that basically says, to summarize it. Here, let me.
That's a great article.
Pop this up here. If you read this, your takeaway is Wayland is absolutely perfect, and X11 is going to kidnap your dog. That's how this comes across. I mean, that's what you might think when you get done with it. You're like, maybe I should switch to Wayland. And the general take from this is like, you no longer have an excuse not to use Wayland. Period. I don't want to hear any ifs, ands, or triangles. And if you're designing software, it should work with Wayland. And if it breaks X, whatever, it's not important. And then we get through like the list of things like all of your excuses are invalid these days. This is what I want to get down to because this is I got words for this, but I'm trying to be a little bit common complaints. Here we go. Some of these common complaints, people. I just want to make sure this is on the screen. I don't want anybody to think I'm paraphrasing anything here. So check this out. So if screen recording, no longer a complaint. It absolutely works as long as you ignore all the apps that no longer or don't currently support it yet. So that's fun. Barrier Synergy remote desktops absolutely work. One, Barrier's no longer maintained, so I assume you mean Input Leap. They would disagree, Jill.
Yeah.
They would be like, wait a minute, it works? Are you sure?
Yeah.
Because no, it doesn't. It's not stable. So we're still waiting on that to not crash. Now the good news is, I mean, this is from last month, where like, we're working on it. It's going to take a while, and it's in development, but it's a long way from a solved problem. Back to this though, accessibility tools. Joe, you know something about that? They don't exist on Wayland.
Yeah, using my Zoom apps and screen readers is very difficult on Wayland.
They're just not there, man.
Yeah.
This is brought up with the accessibility, and accessibility in general is a bit of a sad state. And, there's like a proposal for some things that could work, but again, it's just not there right now.
Yeah.
It's not there right now. You ever heard of a guy called Plegman 2?
Oh, yes. He's,
Yeah,
I was just going to say,
coder,
I'm following him on Twitter.
working on the Steam Deck. This is where I found out about this blog. Perrier Loop Grifas.
Yes.
And this is the reason I was reading this in the first place. And he brings up the whole point. He was like, platforms need to provide a mechanism and not editorialize on what use cases and apps are valid or not. Wayland transition needs to keep breakage at 0. Anything else? And we teach a gen of third-party developers to never target Linux desktop ever again. And this is in response to what we were just talking about. That's his take on this. And it's right. Mm-hmm. It's right. This guy back here, he's got a little thing. Never break user space.
Yeah. Linus Torvald said it well.
I understand if you're excited and enthusiastic about Wayland, but to try to get the train rolling on like break X, like don't care about X, when X is the big one right now, like it's got the majority share of desktops. I'd like to see real numbers on that because I assume it still does. I can't be 100% on that. Now, Wayland has been in development for the last 15 years, and it's been really close to almost sort of being ready for the last 5.
Yeah.
We don't say it's just 10 years away now. Now we could be like, it's probably only about 5 years away. But, like any 32-year-old piece of software, X is a collection of hack upon hacks. That's 30-year-old software. All of it. Like, that doesn't exist outside of anywhere else. Wayland's going to be the exact same if it is around 17 years from now. When it's 32, it's going to be a collection of hack upon hacks. So, like, that's not a fair argument to leverage against X. That's just software development as a whole. Mm-hmm. But let's talk about the good stuff about Wayland. The promises, HDR, fractional scaling, and all the security stuff.
Yeah.
Really strong points in Wayland.
And it's faster. Because the system has to work less.
Not on NVIDIA, though.
Yeah, there's still issues with that, yes.
To quote the article, thankfully NVK was recently merged into Mesa, so we can finally get off the proprietary drivers. In maybe a decade we can. Mm-hmm. Maybe a decade we can. It's a long ways out. If you got an AMD, if you got Intel, but there's always problem.
Mesa works just great.
Probably going to have a good time with it. Get out there, play with it. I'm a big champion of Wayland. I try to follow it as closely as possible, and I have been for several years, and more so with Pipewire. Like, Ben, you don't use these. No, but I know that it should logically be the next evolution of Linux. So, I want to be kept abreast of it, right? I don't want to be like, oh, what's this magic stuff? And I want to be able to balance out, like, when it can do the thing that I can no longer do. Then we moved to Wayland. But, I appreciate the enthusiasm on those, but also this is borderline cheerleading, and cheerleading is super dangerous.
Yeah.
super dangerous. You can do more damage by telling somebody everything's perfect and everything works and everything's great, and they go to use the thing and find out that they were just sold a bill of lies. They're really not going to like that product or project or application or thing or hamburger.
Yeah.
You gotta be careful about stuff like that. Jill, you played with Wayland more than I have, though. I mean, I think it's really good for like desktop usage at this point, though.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And there's been a lot of improvements in using OBS too on it, which the last few months I've been noticing it works a lot better these days. And screen recording, and it's all improved. And of course, gaming is working great. And yeah, so Xorg has actually been a series of band-aid fixes on top of a core that needs to be rewritten. Like Vena's, was just talking about, and we've talked about it here on LWW a lot. And, Wayland fixes a lot of those issues and is more prepared for the functions of, a modern desktop with HDR and multiple monitors. And it's going to improve the ecosystem. But I'm noticing at least 50% more people using Wayland, especially since the beginning of the year. I've noticed a lot of Linux users using Wayland and talking about it. And that's all good. That means the more adoption, the better it's going to get. And I know like developers like Mercan, who's working on Asahi Linux for the M1 and M2, Mac chips. They had to move Asahi completely over to Wayland because of some of their issues with the Xorg. So that's understandable.
I mean, it should be the future going forward. It's just,
yeah.
I think there's a little bit of burnout on it just because, like, the joke is it's been 10 years away and, Wayland has been around for 15 years now.
Yeah, you remember that was the big thing in Linux that year, and everyone was talking about it, and everyone was arguing about it.
We were all super excited when we saw like the Wayland announcement, and I remember you can go back and watch like the talk. There was a good talk from all those years ago about, hey, this is Wayland, how it's going to work, and it just kind of sat around and nothing really came on it. Outside of like some weirdos, they're like, hey, we're using them. I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool. That's pretty neat. We've gotten some momentum. We've gotten some movement on NVIDIA. The reason you got to keep NVIDIA in the conversation, if you're being honest, is NVIDIA is 80% of the discrete GPU market.
Yeah, it is.
Like, you can live in a fantasy world where that doesn't exist. That's cool. I'll come visit you, but that's not where I can live. So NVIDIA has at least gotten to the point, because Jordan has a 10 series NVIDIA card, and I know he does run Wayland on GNOME.
Oh, yeah, he does.
So, and, I use a GameScope, X Wayland compositor. I mean, it works. I haven't had any big problems with it. So we're getting there.
Yeah.
Eventually it's going to happen.
Yeah, it will. Steam's already, seeing Valve is already seeing the light of day with their Steam Deck. They're using GameScope and some of the Wayland tools.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's if you're building something new, that's what you would use. I don't think anybody has the argument, because maybe it's a lot of like the phrasing. This is just a blog post from a random person that's not involved. Like, whatever. I just thought it was interesting because, Valve employee brought it up. Like, hey, don't go telling people to break apps in favor of Wayland. Mm-hmm. What was brought up in the article, kind of like in passing, it was like, oh, you could do that? As something you might know, Ryan Iculus, has this little application called SDL.
Yeah.
So you don't have to interact with it, X or Wayland directly. That can just run everywhere. It was like, oh, you could do that, SDL, if it's your thing. I'm like, yeah, target SDL here. And not worry about it. So, but yeah, I don't think anybody's making the argument of X is going to mount the comeback. It's kind of done.
Yeah.
It works. Does it have a, when you talk about that code and hacks and stuff like that, it's a static collection of hacks that we all know workarounds for. That's the lens you got to look at it. It's also stable. It's not moving. And Wayland's still got a lot of moving to do.
Yeah, it does.
which is a good thing. I'm not poo-pooing that. That is like cool. There's future stuff and exciting things going on with that development. Like I want to play with it.
Yeah. Yeah, and it along with Pipewire is going to be, so important.
Yeah.
Coming up.
It drives me up the wall not being able to play with that stuff.
Yeah.
I can't do it in here.
Yeah.
I cut everything on here. It's got to cut on. There can't be an update to like, oh, let's go track that down. Like, no, it's got to cut on. That's why we're still going to see X laying around another 20 years from now, probably. But yeah, I look forward to our Wayland future. Moral of the story, everyone. Is there an alternate display server outside of X and Wayland? There's a question.
Yeah.
I've never even looked. For all I know, Bob has a great display server we've never used.
Yeah, I mean, I know in the Unix's history, they had tried to play with some different forms of X.
Because we think about Xorg, and it was originally X386, and that's what I started on way back when.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, I have no
Good
love.
question.
Yeah. Somebody school us. Write in. Be like, no, this thing is great. And I've been using it forever. And it's familiar. I grew up with X. X has been around my entire time. And, I'm like, I want to play with the new stuff. And we'll get there.
Yeah.
We'll get there.
We will.
Like, even NVIDIA is begrudgingly taking its baby steps after pouting for 5 years because it didn't get its way with the EGL. So, yeah. But we don't need to worry about big, bad, stinky NVIDIA because we all have AMD cards, and now it's going to be easier to overclock them.
Yeah, this is exciting news. And from AMD, for us AMD GPU users on Linux, yay! AMD is actually enhancing their overdrive GPU overclocking features for us Linux users and bringing them closer to parity with the ones on Windows. Woohoo! We've kind of been waiting for this for a while. And honestly, this demonstrates AMD's future and current commitment to supporting our penguins. And some of the new overdrive features include lots of fan adjustments. There's PWM tuning, adjusting the fan curve, fan acoustic limit, fan target temperatures, to name a few. And the new features are only available to those who have newer RDNA 3 Radeon RX 7000 series cards that have just come out, and it doesn't work on older generation cards. So, and that makes sense. They're looking forwards to the future. And these changes just affect the user space interface using sysfs, not changes in the GUI tools. So this is actually, for the third-party developers and app creators utilizing in future apps and systems. So this is for us, the Linux community and the developers.
Oh, no, it's for Mr. Moneybags Commandant with his 7000 series GPU showing up tomorrow.
Yay! Awesome, Strider.
That's pretty cool. I mean, it's like little quality of life, things like that things I was like, oh, that's really neat because like we don't normally have access to stuff, but if you're coming over from Windows, you expect that just to be there.
Yeah.
Where's this?
Then, like you, I'm just waiting to be able to adjust brightness in the AMD toolkit.
You want to talk about mad? I didn't. When I set up a Jackbox with that 5600G, the first one I bought another one, so I powered through my dislike of that. I never wanted to manually color calibrate. You can kind of see a little bit of that monitor right there. Didn't want to manually color calibrate it because the controls are horrible on it. It would take half a day. I mean, it probably took like an hour of playing around with it. So what I did is I just always used the NVIDIA control panel, which, speaking of another thing that doesn't work in Wayland, that if you're on NVIDIA, you cannot do the contrast, RGB, brightness.
Yeah.
It's not there. Yeah.
Mhm.
AMD, come on, do that. But yeah, overclock. I'm trying to think. You know what? When was the last time I overclocked? Out of curiosity, I think I overclocked the memory on this 3060. Because I was reading somewhere, I was like, yeah, you can just overclock it by 600 megahertz, 800 megahertz. Won't hurt it. It's fine. And I did it, and it was fine. And I'm like, okay, then I ended it.
Then that's kind of been I did it to test some games with, and then I immediately put it back because that shortens the life of your card. So
It potentially can. And
yeah.
I drive these things hard.
Yeah, you do.
These things are on holiday when they're playing video games. And no, that's really cool, man. Being able to easily adjust the fan curve, your acoustics, and being able to say, hey, I want to set this temperature and let it figure it out. That'd be kind of neat. Maybe we can just all go to water. I want a water-cooled GPU for some reason.
Yeah. They're available. There's a couple manufacturers that actually, make them specifically, make water-cooled GPUs, higher-end ones.
Yeah, I was like the AIOs. I'm not terribly interested because here's the problem with like the AIOs is none of them have enough tubing on them to get to the front of this case. I have because they're made for smaller cases.
Smaller cases, yeah, that is an issue.
But I was like, next time I upgrade GPUs, I'll probably just buy a water block and because I haven't built a water cooling system in a while, like a real water cooling system.
Might as well do it yourself.
Yeah. I'm not going to do hard tubing. No. But yeah, like soft tube setup just for fun. Cool. All right. One last bit of pie. I just realized we are running long. Who remembers word processors?
I do. It wasn't the first. I was learned typing on word processors in junior high, but I learned to actually type earlier than that on traditional typewriters.
Typers.
Typers.
It was a weird moment in time. You kind of had to be there to believe it because, same way. When I grew up, we had typewriters. Like, okay, that's what you had. That's what you had. And if you were real fancy, you had an electric typewriter.
Yeah.
Which you didn't have to click, you hammer on it. And if you were super fancy, it had an erase function.
Yeah. That was always the one.
People spent some money on these, man. However, there was this little transition period because, PCs came out. PCs were like crazy expensive. They were. So we had like this mid-market thing. If it was kind of a computer, but it kind of wasn't. We just called them word processors. It'd be a monitor. It'd be a box. Sometimes you get a disk drive to save stuff, and it'd have a printer. Like, what else did it do? Nothing. It was a word processor. You could log into it, type what you needed to type, print out your thing. You weren't going to play games on it. You weren't going to install anything else. And they were very locked down. But you know what? They were affordable. They had that, like, mid-market thing, and they kind of just disappeared because, by the mid-90s, PCs were semi-affordable. People were just buying those.
Using computers.
Yeah. So, this guy named Brendan decided to make this. This is Muse. Muse. It's based on an Olympia Traveler Deluxe.
Woohoo.
Right? And what does Muse
I remember seeing those, actually. I think one of my teachers had one.
I gotta imagine, man. The most unusual sentence extractor. Talk about an interesting project to go through, because this is the inspiration, like one of those, and that was considered a portable typewriter back in the day. What's that mean? Carry around with you. How times have changed.
Yeah.
So this is the initial concept. We're gonna have a keyboard with an e-ink display. I'm like, okay, it's kind of neat.
Yeah.
3D printed. I think it looks really nice, doesn't it?
It's beautiful. It's beautiful retro. It's very 60s modern, which I'm all into. So very nice.
Dude built his own keyboard. I got mad respect for that. And here's what I get even extra. You see this keyboard? Do you see that?
Yeah.
Silent.
Yes, absolutely.
Silent. That's somebody who types a lot. And it's a nice looking keyboard too.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Now this was the initial idea was to do the e-ink, and they were like, oh well, this is going to be kind of difficult because then you don't have a backlight. And like, I don't always want to have the lights on. And he said, fortunately for me, my e-ink display died. So we got an LCD touchscreen. So that's what has been upgraded to, which works out a little bit better. Look at that. Foam. I mean, this is completely homebrew, and I like seeing something that's completely homebrew, but it looks...
Yeah, it looks professional. It looks like you could just buy it at the store.
Craftsmanship.
Yeah, beautiful craftsmanship.
And the reason we're talking about it, this is all powered by a Raspberry Pi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Woohoo! Yay!
I thought that was pretty cool. I will have a link to the original project. Unfortunately, this was where was this? On our Raspberry Pi on the Reddit. There's not a guide to how to stick it together, but he did go through the trouble of putting together a bill of materials.
Partsless.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it's really cool. And he actually said in one of the articles, the developer, Brendan, you know, his need for a simple machine to type on, you know, which is away from distractions of modern media like the YouTubes and social media and video games. And I completely understand that, Brendan. And this is actually one of the reasons why I often use old computers to write show notes on for our shows is, you know, because it keeps me away from those distractions and I can't play modern games on it. Although I can play old school games, but still it gets me focused on just typing.
One of the neat features, I forgot to mention, this thing does cloud saves.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he uses the CAD, what do you call it? I've used it before. Not GuiCAD. CAD. I'm forgetting the name. But yeah, it allows you to 3D print online.
I think it's neat. All that's going to be in our show notes. Go check it out, even though we've ran for 39 minutes.
Uh-oh.
Which means we got to roll some credits. Thanks for sticking with us for the long run. We'll be back next week. But till then, I need to thank everybody. Hey, if you like what we do, head over to linuxgamecast.com, smash that support button. I want to thank Don, 34-month resub.
Woohoo! Thank you, Don
Twitch,
M.
Bezo Bucks, and everybody else.
Yeah.
If you like what we do, patreon.com/linuxgamecast. Come hop on our Discord. Come go watch the, see what happens when we try to take professional broadcast video equipment and use it on a desktop with OBS, because that video's up right now for our patrons.
Nice.
Along with a gang of other things. Yes, Joe?
Yay! I just found it. It's Tinkercad. I couldn't remember the name of it.
All right.
I've used it before to do some 3D prints.
I think now we won't have that. It was Tinkercad all along.
Yeah. And it's got a nice note-taking system and everything in it. Yeah.
All right. Cool, everybody. Credits.
Yay! Aw, thank you for all of you in our chat. We've got our advisors, our Theron, who's in chat. And our executive producers. Can't name them all. And our Chicago Kicks people. Super Dust Out, Empty. Our Sea Monsters. System T, DS and Joe. Our Death Notes. Lots of them. And Fox Dog, Dirty Dean. Our Chairlings. Everyone that I can't mention, I can't read their names. Because, well, the font's too small for me to read that quickly.
Beautiful people. Thanks for hanging out. If you get a chance, come play with us. We'll be back on Friday.
Absolutely.
For Trackmania. We got a new thing on the server now, which is really fancy, where we don't have to restart the server.
Yes.
Super cool.
That was cool, Vin, that you did that.
We'll be there, 7:30. And tune in tomorrow. Jordan will probably be back with Baldur's Gate. Sometimes it's even multiplayer with one empty. Bye, everybody. See you next week.
Bye, everyone. Love you all.
Where's my button? There it is. All right. Tinkerbell CAD?
Tinkerbell. Oh, that's perfect, honey. I like that.
Huh? Right. Yeah, I thought I was going to be all in on like e-ink readers and stuff. It just never. Then tablets got good.
I know, got good. Yeah. I still would. I would like that e-ink monitor that that Linus showed, but that one, it needed a lot of work. I'll wait for the second or third generation.
I don't know if we talked about that one. I think it's the same company. They got a color one coming out.
Yes. Yeah, it's the same company. So he was going to review the color one. And that I'm really interested in because a lot of the issues with the black and white will go away just because there's color.
E-ink is... I like the idea of it. Like, I still have my original Kindle, man. I saw a new Kindle. But he had one. Those things are razor thin.
Yeah.
And I'd be scared to
Yeah.
carry that one around. Like,
I know. They're getting thinner and thinner. Yeah, Linus was talking about how, Amazon has done so much innovation in the e-ink space. A lot of the issues that the monitor had, the Kindles don't, because they've been doing it for so long and they've fixed a lot of those issues.
Kindles look nice. Like,
Yeah, they're beautiful. The gradients are really nice with the grayscale and everything.
I'm a huge fan of black and white and grayscale.
Yeah.
I minimize color. If you've seen my desktop, you know this. It's all in black and white. So I like high contrast. And by high contrast, I mean dark. I'd get an e-ink display, but they'd have to be cheap. They'd have to be good and cheap, and we're a long ways off from that. E-ink, to the best of my understanding, like the innovation in it was held up for so long because it was patent encumbered. You had to license the technology, and like outside of like Amazon, nobody did. It just cost too much.
Yeah.
So, like, I'd buy an e-ink. Well, okay. It's got to be front lit. It's got to have lights, because I'm not going back to a universe where I have to cut on overhead light to read something. I like that. Remember trying to read books when you were a kid? At night?
Oh, yeah.
Lamp.
Steve does it every night. He still does.
Steve, you're going to rot your brain. Don't do that. Watch YouTube videos.
Yeah, Ben's head floating in a black space. Yeah.
That was welcome to those Logitech webcams, man. I mean, you got to think that was like 10-year-old webcam technology.
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
We were happy with like, we weren't thinking like 1080p. We were like, hey, look, we can see ourselves on the computer. That's neat. That's where we were.
Yeah.
Oh man, things have changed. Technology's gotten better as time goes on. Who would have thought? Man. Yeah, I'm still not paying $15 for Power Supply. I've thought about it the entire show. Not happening. Maybe next week. Tune in next week on whether or not, like, here's how far down the rabbit hole I got with that Zima thing. I was like using Google's AI image search thing to try to find the exact power supply.
Vargoyle. That's funny, Jordan. Drinking wine by the bottle. Yeah, Ben was doing that.
Is that not going to work? There we go. What a Vargoyle looks like.
Yeah. That's true. That's right. That's what those are. The heads on the bat wings.
Denizens of the lower plains flying heads that took to unlit skies. This is like, it's D&D. Like, we can't use bats. Bats are too old hat. We gotta use come up with gargoyle. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I was hoping that drive would show up today.
Oh, yeah.
So I could get that out of the way. I don't want to get another project started because I'm going to have to tear apart Threadbooper. That's a pain, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
I need some super glue, too.
You need super glue.
I do need some super glue. I've been meaning to buy super. I was at the store yesterday and I didn't get super glue because I wasn't thinking about it. And I knew fully well I was going to have to tear apart Threadbooper. Because one of the rubber foots on the front right side doesn't stick very well. So it's imbalanced.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, I hate that. I absolutely hate that. Some of my old equipment, you know, they've lost a foot or they've just deteriorated, and I have to make my own little feet and at the same height. Now I just give it to Steve Husband and he fixes it for me because he can make it perfect. He actually makes a mold.
If it works, it works.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't lost it, but it's fallen off once or twice because what happens is I forget about it. That it doesn't stick very well. And I'll take it out and I got to take the big giant case and flip it and do whatever I'm doing. And I have to like very carefully, if Jordan's listening, he knows exactly the procedure of how you have to grab these cases or you really shouldn't grab them. But it's the only viable way to move them. It's the only place you can grip them on the front.
Oh, okay.
And wedge it back in. It's got its own spot here, you know, cut out and it's right next. And I'm like, okay, cool. Then I go to like, you know, just straighten it. It goes clonk, clonk. It starts tilting. I'm like, oh no. Then I got to go find where the foot fell off. Then I can crawl under it, like lift it up a little bit and stick the foot on. Then I go, next time I'm going to get some super glue. Lies. I still don't have that super glue.
Yeah. Okay.
So I'm going to be doing that. Super glue or nails? What I need to do is just go get a drill. And hang on. We need to go to... I got an idea. Why am I going to ebay.uk? ebay.com. I have an idea.
Or cut the other feet. Yeah, or just take those off and get a new replacement pair.
The new set.
Yeah. Actually, I'm trying to think what brand. I've got some replacements that I've used that have been good and don't deteriorate and get all weird. That's always an issue.
I mean, these are like serve their purpose. But yeah, you do need the spacers because of the air intakes on the bottom.
Yes.
All right, so what do we think? Maybe what I do is I upgrade it.
$6.99.
Get a set of Apple Mac Pro wheels.
What?
Do you know the insulting thing about that Apple is you're still going to charge $8 for shipping. If I'm going to give you $700 for 4 casters, you're like, and $8 for shipping. You know, we're selling these at a loss. I don't do wheels on computer cases anymore because I grew up with it and I got tired of them getting scooched around. And on hardwood, you know, if I had carpet, I would go with wheels. Wouldn't bother me, but I got hardwood floors all throughout this house.
These are the ones I have tons of, the StarTech ones. So I've had to remove a lot of my old ones that are deteriorating from old equipment. And I mean, I can't even set like for external SCSI hard drives and whatnot. I can't even for full height Micropolis drives. I can't even set the box down because they'll stick. You know, because over time it's fallen apart.
It turns into
goo. So I've scraped those off and then put these on there, and they're great. And they haven't deteriorated since I've put them on some of my computers like 20 years ago. So I'm happy with them.
As long as they get good sticky, and you know, it's StarTech. If you can think about like a weird PC thing you need, StarTech has it.
They're great. Yeah, that's where I get a lot of my odds and ends from.
First place I go when I have like a weird idea, like I need an adapter that does this and this. StarTech, I don't like. Of course, StarTech's gonna have one.
Yeah.
Networking. Yeah, StarTech's got all kind of weird crap.
Yeah, they're great.
They're expensive though.
Mm-hmm.
Not all the time, but on particular products, StarTech will charge you a premium. I did a thing with like Firewire cards. If you get a StarTech card versus like the Cybia one.
Oh, Cybia, yeah, I remember that.
It's the exact same card.
Yeah.
The Cybia card's $20. The StarTech one's $70.
Yeah, they do that.
I have one of each. I bought the StarTech one. I found one used on eBay just because I wanted to confirm that. And I'm like, they are part for part identical. I think one was just run at night in the same factory. A parking brake?
Give it a parking brake.
That trick never works. It doesn't work very well on... Okay, now, when you think parking... Because, most wheels will have, like, the little locks on them. Which are good, you just push down on the wheel and it stops it from going around. Again, that works great on carpet. Doesn't work on a low friction surface like hardwood. Because you can still... Then you can just slide the whole thing around without the wheel spinning. Do you have any fans in the bottom of your case? Do you have any fans that are sucking air up?
Move from all and put it on a rolling. Yeah, so I actually do, actually my pink computer that's here right now, I'm using for podcasting. It does, but I have it on a piece of cardboard on the bottom that I made it fit nicely, and that works good. So it's not on the carpet. That works. Or you can put them on the little, they have the computer carts.
I don't have any PCs. You know what? I do. I have a Raspberry Pi sitting in the rack. That counts. That's a computer. That's in the rack.
Yeah.
Everything else is on the floor. I don't have anything with fans in the bottom of the case pulling up.
Oh, that's funny, Cat again. Yeah, now I see what you're talking about. Parking brake on a car that sits off to the side.
Like rubberized wheels. As fun as the thought experiment is, I'm just going to buy a little thing of super glue. And I've changed my mind. I've changed my stance as much as wasteful as it is. You can buy the tube of super glue. We've all bought tubes of super glue, right? Mm-hmm. Regular kind, gel kind.
And we probably have, Steve husband maybe has like 50 in this house. They're even in the refrigerator.
I remember the first time I saw like little micro shot glass. Little tiny individual packs of super glue. Little tiny ones. I'm like, that is so wasteful. They're not when you think about it, though. How many real uses do you get out of that tube of super glue between...
Oh, yeah, that lasts a long time.
The top sticking on the super glue or the super glue just drying up? Because usually you don't use super glue. I mean, for me, years. Years will go by.
The trick is to put it in the refrigerator. Not the freezer, the refrigerator. That way it will last for years.
I don't keep outgassing material. Well, yeah, no. I wouldn't. Steve, please don't tell me you keep super glue in your refrigerator. Well, you guys don't have anything in your refrigerator, do you?
It's not outgassing.
It's not airtight.
He makes it, so it's airtight. I don't know what he does, but...
For anybody listening, don't put super glue in your refrigerator. Please.
Yeah, do it if you want it to last a long time. That's the model builder's trick.
If you do, put it in something airtight.
Yep.
Steve is on a diet. So, to the story is the individual use ones makes sense if you use super glue once every couple of years because you get that one use out of it and you toss it. Then when you need super glue again, guess what? You got those little pockets.
Mhm.
All right. Now, just a big look. Steve keeps unopened bottles, right? In the refrigerator?
Oh, no.
He puts open bottles in?
No, not open bottles.
Okay. There we go. If they're not opened, good. I want everybody to be safe. Don't put open bottles of super glue, even if you've closed them back up.
Unless you're a model builder and you know how to do it.
And you put them in something airtight.
Yes. He's good about that.
All right. We got anything else going on?
No.
I gotta go turn this into a podcast. So, everybody, I want you to enjoy the rest of your Wednesday. It feels a lot cooler than it actually is. Not crazy hot in here. It's been getting down to like 20 degrees at night, which is still warm, but that's almost cold enough to sleep without the AC.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
All right. Everybody, fun time. See you next week. Enjoy.
Love you all. Love you all. That was fun.